Okay, I think it kind of looks weird because my thing broke. I had to order a new one and it hasn't got here yet. But so I got this whole weird thing set up like back when I first started, when I had to bring all of this stuff in and try and bring light all around. And I'm having to do the same thing again. So anyways, man, it just seems like everything has been like that. Like, oh my gosh. If there's going to be a struggle, like everything is going to go that direction or something. It's mental. And I keep thinking it's got to just be this energy like breaking free or something. Like we're just like breaking through to the other side, like going through a crust of heavy energy or something. And maybe that is part of the flipping going the other way, that we're going to kind of run into the energy that was already going that direction. And so it's kind of like having to walk through some denseness in the beginning or something. And I don't even know for sure if we've even are flipping it. The flipping could be kind of like, those doors when you go into some of those buildings and they go around. It could be kind of like that, like we're in the process of turning it around, but we haven't gone the other direction yet. Because definitely, I mean, the energy isn't there for all. It's a lot more pain and, oh my gosh, so much pain. Oh my gosh, so much struggle and stuff in people's lives. And, oh man. And I swear to God, every other video is about Ohio. It's so many. And I don't know, because the algorithm can be manipulative. So I don't know if they just have a whole bunch or if they're pushing those for the distraction, because we've got all of these other ones happening. And I had just said about, okay, so in Vegas, and they had that whole thing where they were shorting gas because some gas line broke and it was going to affect more places. I'm not even sure all the different places it was going to affect. But then in Arizona, then all of a sudden, then they have some other chemical leak, and then you have it in Houston, Louisiana, South Carolina, Missouri, I think. I mean, there's so many, and it's just as crazy how there's still people who think like this stuff is just, well, it happens. No, it is being done on purpose, and it's very dangerous to have purposely someone interfering with our water and our air. And it is with the soil too, which is going to be the food. And another thing too is just in America. So I gotta go up higher. I feel like I'm having to lean down. This is really jacked up. I'm not even kidding how jacked up my whole thing is right now. That all of these when they started coming in and taking over America, the I don't know, the dark hat people started coming in to take over America, and there was all of the water buffalo, and that is what the indigenous people lived off of. And they didn't, they weren't like corporate suppliers or something. They didn't use more. Like they always had in mind, we got to eat tomorrow. So, always be thinking ahead. Like they weren't frivolous about their supply. They were respectful in the harmonious way of interacting with nature. Even with the food, I mean, I think that as natural beings, I think that they could kind of mimic like how animals do. Like you don't just go out and slaughter everything and eat it all up and then have nothing for the next year. And so even when they would prepare for winter and they would make the jerky and stuff like that, like it wasn't overdoing it. They were respectful of the herd. And then the governing forces come in and went in and slaughtered all of the water buffalo. I was going to say bison because it's like, I don't know how close genetically is, but I think that is where they took that DNA of the water buffalo and then cloned or whatever they did and created these bison. That's what I think. I think the bison are just like a little smaller, but I don't know. I'm not an expert. So, this is just stuff that just seems weird to me, like how much they look like them. But they took all of the water buffalo and they slaughtered them, and then they just set them over to even rot. They didn't even care about the meat. They didn't take care of the meat, nothing. Just let it all rot. And then once those people became, they didn't have any food source for them to eat anymore, then they became dependent on the government, because that's what the government does. And then they, take their kids away, and they're going to go educate them by mass graving them. And so the evil that has been done, and they use the food supply, and now they've got more technology, because they can fly around in the air and put chemicals all over the air. And I think that there is so much worse of a thing coming than just the poisoning us, which, I mean, that's horrible in itself. And at the same time, they have this chemical that will make your eyes bleed that's been released, that all of a sudden, well, there's a new virus out and it will make your eyes bleed and you die real quick. Well, isn't that a coincidence? So, and there would be people who would believe this shit. Like, they would go and their eyes will start bleeding and they'll be like, oh my God, I got the flu. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Because reality is what you think it is. And I saw this girl yesterday, and I went through to read the comments because it was curious over what the situation was with her. And she did write in big, bold letters at some point, because there were so many people asking the same question. She did write in big, bold in the comments. No, she did not. But then she got something recently, and I think she said start with the sore throat, which, oh, man, my throat is fucking killing me. And yesterday when I went out to walk Stella, because I keep taking her on these little walks, is I could smell chlorine. I was like, that is so weird. Why does this smell like chlorine out here? And then the sky is covered with chemicals, and it's just like, oh, well, I'm sure we're going to smell. But it was such a strong smell, and there's no swimming pools out here where I'm at. There's no reason to have chlorine smell. And so, I just came home, but just more and more through the evening, my throat just got more and more sore. It felt like I was closing up. I was drinking a ton of honey in my tea. And then this morning too. And this morning, I made some onion water. Not yesterday, the day before. So this morning I drank 3 tablespoons of that, which to me, that onion water tastes kind of like the, like if you make salsa. Yeah, well, I guess because I had a little bit of cilantro in it. I don't know, it could be a little different. But if it tasted like the fluid stuff, and when you make salsa, when the liquid stuff, that's what it tasted like to me, the onion water. But mine had a little cilantro, because they're supposed to be sent with cilantro, cayenne pepper. And I had seen with these chemicals, I think it was the eye bleeding thing too. And this guy, because there's so many chemists on talking about these ones. And I guess the EPA just released the 3 more toxins that were in this thing, which no telling how many there really were. And I mean, just the fact that they're moving this stuff around the way they're moving it and moving it together. And I've seen so many people in Ohio now saying there's derailments constantly there. There's always derailments. They've always been waiting for this big disaster to happen. And so, even when they know that there is all of these problems, they still would move chemicals that way. It's because the stuff that has to come to the surface is the sea. The corporate bottom dollar is the head of all life. It's money before life in this place. And, more people are realizing it now when they're talking about, like, we have all these derailments. They knew something was wrong, and then they're moving these chemicals. And then, but, I mean, it doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to be like, oh, so just coincidentally crashed right at the river. And then, which is also weird how that one is Palestine. And then you go down further to the Cairo River or something, or Cairo. I was like, that is so weird. In Ohio, it would have Palestine and Cairo, and it's running along this river, and then it turns out, and then that's where it hits into the Mississippi. So this one person who was shown on the maps and stuff, like all of these rivers, and then how it keeps going across. Once so they had the whole East Coast covered. All their water was going to be contaminated by how they strategically had done their stuff. And then Houston, that moved it down south and further. Then Arizona moved it further out west. And I heard that there was one in Oregon. Spokane here is where all of the trains are. Like, there's so many trains in Spokane. You even drive through Spokane, you just figure you're going to be stuck in, if you go in the valley especially, that there's going to be trains going. So if there's going to be some sort of disaster derailment in Washington State, I would think that's where it's going to hit the most populous place, because over here, it was weird when I came over here, because it was like, man, there's not trains all over the place. And there could be, like, you could go into like Marysville or something, and maybe there was a couple trains or something. But like when you get down like in Seattle and stuff, it's not like trains all over the place. Like, I don't know where the train station is. I would think it's got to be somewhere close to a pier or something. I know that the Amtrak station is down there, but the one that, is the transport one, because that would be the one that would derail, unless they really wanted to make a huge drama and have an Amtrak hit one, have a passenger one hit into that. Because they've already got another truck, I think it was in Arizona. Oh, another truck just drove on the tracks. Just drove right on the tracks. I was like, yeah, that's just, I'm sure it's just a coincidence. I was just like, man, people have got to start questioning this stuff and seeing, like, there is no coincidences. This is being done on purpose, strategically. And with the chemicals and stuff, and then the way, yesterday I drove into, I didn't drive all the way into town, but I drove outside of my area where I could see the sky more. And the shadow behind the sun is so much bigger. I swear to God, I think it depends on, too, the angle and the time of the day you see it. And, man, my nose is so itchy. I can't quit sneezing, my throat, my stomach. Like, I feel like shit. And I know that we've been having the chemicals on us for, almost 2 years. And it's partly because of this area I'm at, that they have this great way to be able to test on us, because we are like, however it is with the trees in the valley and stuff, that they're able to hold in the atmosphere over us. And that's why I kept saying, man, it's like we're tinted in all the time. And I knew that there was shit in the fucking fog and all this shit. I knew there was stuff in the water. As soon as it all started happening, I knew the sun was fake, all of that stuff. And then you start talking about it, everything's crazy, nobody listens. And then it gets to the point where other people start seeing it. And it's like, man, you've been talking about it. Like, you wish that people could hear you and see, so that, that would be, we wouldn't have to go through all this. But it's not, we're going to have to keep going through this shit. Because no matter, like, some of us notice when things aren't even barely bad. Some of us are hyper aware of what's going on and paying attention. And so we pay attention really quick. These other people are just, got other shit they're thinking about doing or whatever. Definitely not worrying or thinking about anything of substance. And so, or it could be, that they've got their own problems or whatever. And basically, when they've created so many problems for people, it's just part of the distraction, so that you don't have time to work on you or pay attention to the poisons and all that stuff. I feel like that the ones that are up there, the way that that bruise thing looks so big and heavy, and the sound of the planes and stuff and the helicopters and shit when they go over, how much louder everything keeps getting. And then the chemicals up there, I swear to God, they're just setting this whole thing up for a giant explosion up in the sky. Like I think that there's going to be something really huge. I think there's going to be some stuff with the water. For sure. We have some sort of water event that for sure is coming, and who knows when, but it's going to change the West Coast for sure. That's coming. And I think it's coming sooner, but I don't know that it's going to all go super fast and abrupt. I think it's going to be more than one disaster that's going to do it. So, but I still think that the earthquake or tsunami or something in California is close. And then all these chemicals and stuff, I think there's going to be something is going to happen up in the sky. I mean, there's already so much that's pulling people's attention up to the sky, and there's already so many things. I mean, they're just constant with the spaceships. You know, they don't let that go. Now there's UFO sighting over here, UFO sighting over there. People seeing aliens and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know. And the whole thing is you don't even know how much of it is even real or true. Like, I know all this stuff is real. I know aliens and shit are real. It's so weird when people are just like, I don't know. I kind of think it could be real. Like, they keep saying it. Like, I think there really could be aliens. It's like, oh my fucking God, damn. So weird. Maybe, just maybe, we're not the only ones out here in the universe. Just maybe, this universe isn't what we think it is. Just maybe. To me, especially over the past, I don't know what day it was. It was like one day, it seems like it was like 3 or 4 or 5 days ago or something. One day I got up, and it was like, I felt like, I know I've said I feel like I'm in a dream a lot, but it felt so weird. So weird. And I was going around, and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm a cartoon or something. I feel like I'm in cartoons. Like, what in the world? Like, everything. The same way as when I, back in I think it was 2018. I don't know, I'm so mixed up on dates. 2018, when I was seeing about when I went outside and I started noticing that everything looked very three-dimensional. And I was like, oh my God, the sky looks so weird. Oh my God, the trees look so weird. Everything looks so weird. And I started saying it to people. I started saying, do you notice how weird everything looks? And they was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, it looks weird. It looks like we're looking at a three-dimensional picture or something. Can't you tell? And they'd always be like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I'd be like, and I kept trying to, like, I kept trying to think, like, okay, everybody's seeing this. It's turning into this. It's looking this way or something. So everybody's seeing it. And everybody would ask, and they'd be like, no. And everybody kept thinking I was so nutty, but I kept being like, it looks like when you see one of those pictures hanging on the wall that is one of those three-dimensional pictures, and it like looks like it's like moving or something. But that's where I was like, man, everything looks like that. Nothing seems real. Everything looks weird. And so then the other day when I got up, and it was like that. And it was like, all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I am that. So it was like kind of feeling like being aware that was a hologram or something. And then, I don't know, but ever since I got up that day feeling like that, it's been like that every day. And at first, when it very first happened, it was like really unsettling. Like, it was like, oh my God, this feels so weird. Is something weird gonna happen today? Like, is this a day, like, is everything gonna stop or something? Am I like, and then nothing happened. Then I went through the next day, and it was another day. And then I think I was in yesterday. And then today. It's the same thing. It almost feels like I'm a paper doll or something. Like when I was a kid, we'd have these little things called paper dolls, and they were one dimension. I mean, they were flat. They were literally a doll cut out of paper, and then they would have all these clothes. Well, they would cut out of cardboard, and then they would have all these clothes cut out of paper, and you'd fold them over, and you just play dressing these little paper dolls up with these little paper clothes. And that was fun when you were a kid. Like, that was a thing. Like, they've even got paper dolls now, because my one of my daughters got them from one of my granddaughters a few years ago. And that is what I started feeling like a paper doll. Like, it's so weird. Like, as you, I don't know, ascend into your understanding of this place, because it's like you have to keep pulling back and seeing more and understanding. And the whole process is like, it can be kind of unsettling. It feels just weird. Like, you just, and as things happen, just kind of, like, process, you know, what's going on or whatever, because it is very strange. And so I keep having just all these strange things keep happening to me that are just like a whole nother level. And then I see all these other people talking about all this other stuff, and I could see, because they're talking about stuff, you know, I was talking about in like 2017, some talking about what I'm talking about in 2018, some talking about what I talked about in 2020. It's like all of these people. And that's why I was like, man, this awakening is happening for the majority of people. Oh, I got in a thing, not an argument yesterday, but, you know, two sides with my mom, because, what was it? I think she was saying something about what was on the news or whatever, and so I was saying, well, it's about blah, 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 like, there's so many things. And she was saying, whatever it was in this discussion, and about how everything is about to change and go. And so she thinks that the rapture is all of the, oh, I remember what it was, because she was talking about all the bad stuff, and she said, I'm beginning to think we're in hell. I said, I've been telling you that. I've been telling you we're in hell. And she's like, yeah, but something about the Bible or Jesus or something like that. And I said, well, I think we're in hell, and you have to ascend out. You have to, you know, focus on the Holy Spirit or light and love or whatever you want to think of it, to ascend out of this low vibration and pull yourself in to knowing you're more into a higher vibration, so that you can feel better, you know. And that's the ascension into the heavens, is you moving yourself into a different state of mind where you can have a different understanding. But it's like a whole process. Like, you can't just jump in the middle. Everybody's got their own unique way of waking up too. And so, you know, you have to go through wherever it is that you start at. You will have a process that will follow. And so it doesn't have to follow anybody else's process. You'll have your own process. And then, you know, mine has been, I just know that mine has something to do with helping people. And so some of the stuff, you know, I'm not even going to completely understand until it goes into that kind of more part of it. Because right now I'm still just sitting here talking to myself most of the time. I mean, I know that there's a few of y'all, but I mean, it's crazy. Even on TikTok now, like, they have me way, as soon as there's any traction on any video, they just like lock it down, pull it in. And like, it's so crazy too, because if I go in and say anything about science, that video will be like 2 views. It's like, oh, okay. Y'all put a lot of energy, a lot of work on my account, trying to keep me quiet. But, you know, I mean, for all of what they do to keep some of us silent, like on that account, on this account. So, you know, I like I've said before, like, I'll know when things are really changing, because that I have got this censorship thing, and that will be, you know, show me when that's lifted. Then I'll know, like, okay, now things are going to start picking up. Now things are going to really start moving. And I think it's going to be like, I know I'm not the only one in this position. I know that I feel certain that something that they have shown me is going to be like, it's going to be like, kind of like this unveiling or something, like of this group of people or something that were kind of hidden. It was like that they were kind of hidden, but all of a sudden they're going to just be there. And to a lot of people, it's going to feel like they have all the answers. But that's where, there's challenges and everything. Because if you're one of those people, and I mean, people who've been listening to me for this whole time, it's more likely that you are somebody who's there to lead than you are, just waking up. And so the people who, what was I going to say? Because the people who are going through the just now waking up, like they need to have people who have gone through some stuff. So it's like a domino kind of thing. Like each one needs the other to have movement. And so, we all need to come together to create the change and help one another and not judge, and realize like just because they don't know this thing doesn't mean they don't know this other stuff. And to just, let people open themselves up at their own pace, at their own rate. Because you cannot make, I fucking tried. Like in the beginning, I tried telling people and saying things just like when I was saying stuff about the sky, even when I was talking about the fake sun. And, that was, I think, 2 years ago. 2020, I was so focused on other stuff. I don't remember when I noticed it. It seemed like it was like towards that summer or something in 2020, but it could have been 2021, but that is way too fast. I feel like it was 2020. I just know it's been a long time where I started talking about that there's a fake sun. I'm saying there's a fake sun. That is not the regular sun. And oh my gosh, the amount of people are like, yeah, that is. What is wrong with you? That is a normal sun. What is wrong with... It's like, no, that is not. How do you look at that and see that that is the normal sun? It's like, if you've never looked at the sun before, and but nobody would. Everybody could only see what they thought was up there. And then when you start waking up, you just, to me, it's like you just start seeing, like, things aren't what they seem to be. And yeah, the sky and the sun. But when I started talking about it, I was using my own senses, my own discernment. And then I was speaking out on my own observation, speaking of what I saw, what I believe is happening. And, and then being like, if you don't believe it or you don't see it, like I've come to the realization that you can only see and believe what you are capable of seeing and believing. Like that is definitely something I've learned through this process. But the thing is how many people don't have the ability to speak about what they see, because until they go out and search down evidence and stuff, like all the people are like, yeah, there's a fake sun. Here's the evidence. Science magazine said this. Chinese said this. Blah, 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 blah. And the thing that stands out to me about that is right there is how they mislead us with misinformation. It's our dependence on some confirmation from somebody. And like I've said a million times, I love the confirmation. I have shared videos and stuff where people are talking about the things I've talked about. I'll send videos where people are talking about the things I've talked about to my kids, and I think they're confused of why I'm saying this. Like I'm just showing you a video like I want you to believe because I believe in everything. No, I'm trying to send you a video that someone else is talking about what I talk about, because I'm not fucking crazy and this is some complete stranger saying the same shit as me. So explain it, please. And but I think, I don't know, they don't see things the way, they see it differently. And so I know that those are all people's biases that are going to be brought up from this whole thing of not seeing what is right in front of you. And that is going to be, a big thing, a big slap in the face for a lot of people. And like I've said, how things have to just get worse and worse and worse and worse. Like it wasn't enough that they were poisoning us and all that. Like, it was obvious to some of us, but then they have to even go further and further and further because, to get people's attention. And so now we've got, we're in a major chemical disaster where the soil is contaminated, the air is contaminated. Now all of the different waterways have got an infiltration from chemical spill. And so, we've got serious stuff. And some of these chemicals, I think, will go fast. Like, I just saw footage of a guy. It looked kind of like it would, like, maybe Australia, which Australia's got some shit going on. Like, all these arrests keep going on. And these people have to keep coming out and admitting, that they're involved in this stuff. Like, because this is the part where things are being exposed, And so there's politicians, prime ministers and shit involved with the traffic. So they're getting arrested in Australia. So there's stuff going down there. There's stuff like New Zealand just had a big old earthquake. And I still haven't seen anything else about the one that supposedly happened in Japan. And then in the Philippines or something, now they're saying on their news that some ancient creatures have risen or something. I think I'd heard that before in Japan too, where they were saying there was all sorts of people who were serious about the dragons. And they're like, there's dragons, there's dragons. There's so many footage things because there's all these people who go out and make these fake footage shit. And people fucking share it like it's real. And all this mythical beasts and stuff that were supposedly hatching out in Japan, which I don't know. And then now in the Philippines or something, their government supposedly is saying that they've got some creatures out there attacking people. Like, it probably is some underground lab where they've released their experiments or something to come out and attack the people, is probably more likely. That's the thing, is people got to realize that this place is a big fucking science lab. And these people are just like so hate themselves so much and so down on themselves and want something different so bad that they sign up for every fucking, oh, you want a tail on a human? Here, I'll be the first one. Sign me up. I just can't get over these people with a womb transplant. You know how much hormones and shit, like, oh my God, how much medication just to get a transplant. You are, oh my God, I can't even believe. And, the whole thing with the kidney, this mass kidney thing, like, what was it that I had just seen? Because it came into my head yesterday, later in the evening again, where I was like, oh yeah, that's where all those were. That they said there was this ton, because they were already doing the prison thing, but then this was another thing where, man, it was like a mass amount of, but I just started thinking, there cannot be this many people who need oh, I remember what it was. Because they said all of these, I don't know where this is released. This could be another thing where somebody is just saying this and then they somehow get it out there and everybody starts talking about it. But that there is all of these people who are overdosing and stuff, that they are taking them in and putting them on whatever that's called. When you're brain dead and your body, when that would happen in the hospital, somebody would die and their body would still be okay, but their brain had stopped. Like, I had a patient and he was sitting there with his wife, and they're talking. I was in there talking to him. I leave the room, go out, and then all of a sudden the buzzer comes on, and I go back in there, and he died just instantly. And they said that he had pneumoembolism thing, so blood clot in his lungs. And so that can happen after surgery. The blood clots can go around, and so if it gets in your lungs, your heart, there's certain places that will just instantly just kill you, depending on the size of it and stuff too. And so that happened with him. And then they had to go through this whole thing about the organ retrieval and keeping him alive. Like, so I was involved and learned a lot about it because of this one situation. But so they will get the body and then they'll keep it on life support so that they can find a place for all of these different parts. And then they will do these, it's like a real ornate kind of thing that they do. Because like you say, you need somebody in New York needs the eyeballs, and somebody in Arizona needs a kidney, and somebody in Florida needs a lung, you know. So all these different parts have to go all these different places. Once they start cutting into it, there's only a certain amount of time that everything's sustainable and stuff like that. But the thing that is weird is when I heard that, it was like, who the hell wants some fucking drug addicts parts? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, oh my god, damn. Like, you go and put some fucking person who has been doing that, abusing their body like that, and you're going to put in their filter system in you? You're going to put their liver, any of their stuff? And, I mean, how much, I swear to God, they're passing diseases and stuff, doing this stuff. And where people just, this is the ethical practice of science that people have to wake up to. Like, it's disgusting what they'll do to cut $1. Well, I mean, we're talking, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, this isn't over 20 bucks. This is over big money. Our parts are worth big money to these people. And then where they're going to take, like, these gross old fucking parts, and then you're going to sell them for top dollar. Like, fuck, man, it's sick. And how many, anyways, like, even where I was talking about yesterday in Chicago, how I had seen that guy say he knew guys over there who could get your kidney out in fucking 30 seconds and be out of the, get it out, go. Like, he said it's insane. And so even that, you think about, like, you're going down to the seediest part of Chicago, you're drugging people and getting them in a hotel, whacking. I mean, some of it I think is done in a fucking alley. Like, I don't even think that I think, you know, how many of those are homeless? Or, I mean, I think there's some people who have gotten some bad parts. And I think that, you know, and another thing too, I just saw, pretty sure that girl's name is Selena Gomez, I think. I don't know, I could have her name wrong. She's like a Disney Plus girl or something. I think she's, I don't know, late 20s, I think. But she's definitely like a Nickelodeon girl or something. And so she's popular with these younger people. And, but she's the one who, there's a whole fucking thing about hers because she had a kidney thing. And that also, to me, like, how many of these clone actors or people that they put out into the world that are cloned or then have problems with their parts and stuff? Like, you know, I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, in this interbreeding causes problems. I've got a fucking dog that has got serious issues because of, you know, unethical breeding that causes this stuff. And so she had, you know, this kidney problem. Then she's best friends with Bill Murray, who owns this hotel down there in Chicago. She just happens to go to do this concert there, and then just so happens to suddenly need a kidney transplant and while she's there. And then she just so happens to have a best friend who has the matching kidney he's going to give her. And but just so happens at the same time, this young black girl gets drugged at a party in a hotel, disappears, and is found in a freezer in this Bill's hotel, missing a kidney. Like, what is a fucking... And the reason I'm even bringing her up is because I just saw yesterday or the day before where she showed that she just had a baby. And then, or that she's pregnant. Did she have the, I swear to God, there was a picture where it was showing she was pregnant, because I was trying to see, could that be a fake stomach? And they try and do this whole thing to really show it. But, I mean, they've done all that stuff in movies, show like where it looks like the girl's really pregnant. It's just a fake stomach. So I don't know. Because for her to be on all that medication, It has so much medicine that you have to take if you have a transplant, and your body rejects everything. So I don't know. I would have to look it up, like how many girls give birth when they're on all of those medicines that you have to take so your body doesn't reject this stuff. Like I don't know. Like some of these medicines, even people are having babies on, like you shouldn't even be taking them to begin with, crossing the blood-brain barrier. And they've got all these people on all of these kind of antidepressants and mood stabilizers and anti-anxiety that cross over into the blood-brain barrier. And then those are, and right now, then, and see, I said they were going to start doing this shit. Now they're shortaging on Adderall. And then that is going to mess with fucking people's, their, not just their mood stabilize, but their whole metabolic system when they go fucking cold turkey on this shit. Like when I went, because when I first did antidepressants the first time, because I think it was, I can remember where I lived and stuff. I can remember going on them because I was like, oh man, I was raggedy. And I had all four of my girls. I was in a miserable relationship, miserable marriage. And I'm so stressed out, so overwhelmed. Everything I did was wrong. And I was just beat down so bad. I just wanted to die so bad. I was so, oh my God, I was so depressed. And I just kept thinking of myself driving off of this, there's this hill in Spokane. I just kept thinking driving off of it. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm going to go. I felt so like I'd just given up on life. I didn't give a shit. And I had little kids. And so I was, I went in to do the ice trays one day, and I was getting some ice out to put in some water or something, and the ice fell on the floor, and I just burst into tears. Like that was it. I was like, the ice falling on the floor, that was my last straw. I couldn't fucking deal with another goddamn thing. And so I went and got on antidepressants. And when I first did, it was Paxil. And this was, I mean, this was, fuck, 20 years ago. This is right when all that stuff was coming out. And my grandma had died from depression. And then you go in and they're like, oh, you know, you've got severe depression and all this, and make you take these tests, you know, seems all serious and legit. And plus, it was falling apart. I needed something. So I did the Paxil. And I felt like a fucking, I couldn't believe it. I was losing weight. I felt so powerful. I felt like it didn't matter what somebody said to me. I was like, oh, fuck off. You know, I felt strong. It was like this pill was making me feel strong. And I liked it. And I don't remember why I went off of it. I don't remember what happened. There had to be some reason. But then, it could have been the doctor even, I don't remember, but there was some reason why I had to go off of it. And so then I had to start weaning off of it. I had never been so fucking sick. Oh my God, I could not believe it. And the pain. Oh my God, my head hurt so bad. I thought I was going to fucking die. And they weaned me off of that too. It wasn't like a cold, abrupt thing. I definitely weaned off, and it took like a month of horrible pain. Oh my God, I was so sick. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never taking another fucking antidepressant ever again. And then I get to 20 years later, I get to the dark night, and that's where I started, you know, I kept thinking, I couldn't quit seeing myself hang myself. Every time I'd look up, I was like, oh, I'm hanging myself. So it was the same thing where I was just feeling so like, oh my God, it was too much. And then when I went in and they put me on the Wellbutrin, and I weaned myself off of that one, and I didn't have near the problems I did with Paxil. But still, you have to wean off of some of this stuff. Like Adderall, you can't just, I don't think you can just abruptly stop. I don't think that all these things that they have out that people are abusing should not be abused for more reasons than what people understand. Like they're fucking up all their chemical imbalances inside their bodies. Like you are affecting, it's like going and getting a new computer and then getting a glass of juice and just pouring it on the computer. That's essentially what people are doing to themselves. And it's like you're fucking up. Everything is not going to work right. But that's what they want, because then they've always got this new magic pill. Oh, we got another one right here. You got a problem right there? We got a pill. They're always one step ahead of you. I wonder how that works. couldn't be because they're creating the problem, could it? That to me is so clear. Well, it's just it's so clear. What was it? It was something I had just seen. I was like, yeah, they create the problem because they've got the solution. That it's their whole thing. That they create the solution, so let's create a problem for the solution. Oh, we got this chemical and we could do this, so let's do that. And then some of them, they just put them out there and it's like, oh, well, we wanted it to do this, but instead it's doing that, so let's just go with that. And that's what happened with Rogaine. Rogaine was supposed to be for something else. And then everybody started growing hair with it. So they're like, okay, well, let's just make it a hair grow product. Like, that's what they fucking do. And if they give something in like Topamax, right? And everybody started losing weight on Topamax when they were taking it. It was for something else. And so then everybody wanted to take Topamax for weight loss. But it is damages you neurologically. So then there's like, well, let's just take this out of there and then let's market it. And that's probably what's the new $3,000 pill is Cossack or whatever the fuck it's called. That it's probably just some derivative of Topamax that they've taken out and they tried to leave the other part out. That's all they do. Is they're just a bunch of mad scientists in there messing with chemicals. Oh, well, let's try this then. Let's try this one. What about this? It's just it's mad scientist world. And it's so funny too. Is like when you go in and you watch the old movies that I grew up on, the sci-fi horror movies, and it was like they were saying it the whole time. Like all of this stuff has been going on for so long. These Frankenstein people, like they've infiltrated every way that they can. These mad scientists, and to the point where then they got the whole world at their oyster. It's like the whole world has become corrupted by this chemical information, you know, like who's got the secret formula. And what even gets more horrible is that the secret formula that they all want to pay for is like a Fauci shit, you know. It's like, I've got the secret formula that can kill them all so fast. Yeah, sign me up. Give me I've got my checkbook right here. We want that formula. It's just like out of the movies. Like, whoever holds the secret to fucking kill us all, it's like everybody wants it. Like, we've got the big money. Okay, so this formula will kill them all. So what if we just took that part out and we just left these parts in, and let's see what happens with that. And then all these people come out, oh, I got cancer, oh, I got this, I got that, I'm just sick. It's like, okay, so go back to the drawing board. Okay, so we've got all these ones. Now we got to come up with this kidney medicine because we can get them all hooked on that. Tell them they all need that until that doesn't work anymore. Then we'll have another one prepared because it's all just a fucking game. None of it is really going to do anything to help anybody. It's just these chemical substitutes to make you dependent on them. Just like, you know, what they did with the water buffalo, just kill everything else and made you completely dependent on them. And that is what they're doing right now. I even say when that got the little rural farm that I saw that looked like it was in Mexico, maybe New Zealand or something. It was more rudimentary kind of farm. It was really cool looking, but and the guy had all these chickens out. And so this really low flying plane went over. And there's so much weird stuff with the atmosphere. You know, sometimes I can't even tell if it's shooting shit out. But it was obviously must have been shooting stuff out. And even if you can't see the stuff. But after it went by, then he was showing the footage of his chickens, and they just all started dying. They all started, and it wasn't just like they didn't just lay down and go to sleep. No, they all started being like fucking, it was not pretty. And they had a mass exodus right there on his little thing. And they're going in like right now by Ohio and stuff. Like, so many people are saying all the animals are dying, like pets and everything. I saw a woman, she was with her little girl, and they were doing a video, and I don't remember what state she was in, but she wasn't right in the Ohio thing. She was further out, like she may have been Michigan, Michigan, Ohio. So it could have been, it could have been like she was in Michigan, someplace up close, whatever. And she said a helicopter came flying into their neighborhood. So her and her daughter went out to look, and see the helicopter. And then it just let something out, some big thing, and dropped something out, and then it just flew off. And so she was like, so, I mean, they're making sure they get these chemicals on us all. So, like, and that's what I mean, yeah. I mean, when they went, like, that was even shown in the summertime over in New Jersey when they were going and they were spraying all these people out on the beach. And they just go down low with their plane and just spray it out. And all the people are just sitting there filming it. It's like, what the wacky do shit? In Ohio, I did see somebody say now it has started raining. And this person who was talking about, they said that they got their animals and everything and went indoors. And she said, I don't know what's going to happen, like if this is acid rain, like with these chemicals coming down now. I've seen one, I mean, there's all these different chemists talking about the different ones and how they affect and what happens when water hits them or air hits them and oxygen and all this stuff. And this one guy was saying that this one, the vinyl one, it should be gone by now, which I don't know. I mean, but that they've put out now that there's 3 more that are very concerning. So I just know that they lie about everything. And the people around there are going out and saying their throats hurt, their eyes hurt, they can smell chemicals. And so, that's not good. Just going out yesterday for a walk and smelling them out there. And then every fucking time, like when I open the door or go outside, and then I just have these sneezing things. And this isn't just like little sneezes. This is like deep sneezes. And, another weird thing is like, because this just happened this morning, it happens all the time, but I'll feel something where I keep saying, like, it feels like there's a worm now that I've seen that footage, a worm crawling around my face. And so I'll just be sitting there, all of a sudden it'll be like, it feels like there's some like worm going right up in here, where it feels like it like moves like the mucus or something in my sinus. And then when that happens, I'll just start sneezing, like the deepest sneezes, like the kind that probably give you an embolism if you try to hold it in. And so then I'm always like, weird, what is moving around in there? And what is, maybe it's just air pressure? I don't know. I mean, I keep doing like cleanses and stuff. I don't think I have a bunch of worms inside of me, but I don't know what is moving around in there. And then plus when it does, how then starts sneezing. And, oh yeah, because the woman with so the woman who she didn't have this, but now she's got all these weird sickness, and started with her throat. Then she started having pussy pockets in her throat. Then something with her tongue, which my tongue has got something going on with it, where it feels like it's all tore up. It feels like there's a tore up in the top of my mouth. This over here is like hurting. And so she was saying those same kind of things, like the throat and this weird stuff in her mouth. And then, she did so much more. I think something with her eyes. Like she had so many things. And she was saying this is her 6th appointment. She keeps going in. They keep running all these tests. They can't figure out anything that's wrong. And they keep telling her nothing's wrong, but something's obviously wrong. And it's fucking chemicals. Like, we'd have to go in and have every fucking thing checked in our blood to see what chemicals we're intoxicated with. And she even pulled out these things out of her, whatever these pussy pockets in the back of her throat. She must dig in there and pull things out. Like, things are coming out. Like, hard, big things are coming out of her holes in her throat. They aren't moving like parasites or something, but it's definitely, it looked kind of like, I don't know, hard things. Not the clot, that I don't know what the fuck. But anyway, she doesn't have that. And, I've said all along that it's the chemicals. Like, that was just one set of them. I think there's way more than that. Like, we've got them in everything. And it's just, I don't know, it's just getting crazier and crazier. It's like, I don't get how far this has to go. Like, how far can it fucking take us? I think that there's going to be a lot of people are going to die from this. Even the one in Arizona, they're sitting there shelter in place. Don't go anywhere. Sit right here. Breathe in all the chemicals. Just go in your house and breathe them in. I don't know how many people are going to go into houses and there's going to just be dead people there. Like, I don't understand how people don't get, like, do you understand about war? You ever look at like past wars and how they used chemicals to wipe out whole entire villages and groups of people? It's like, man, I don't get, like, you think you're above that? You think that they will do it to these other people, but they're not doing it to you? Because they're doing it to you. They're doing it right now to all of us. And it's mental how, you know, how there's still so many people that are just in denial that just keep on. I had somebody in my comments a little while ago say, just out of the blue, I don't even know what the hell they came and said this about. And this is all, you know, are these just these bot people? But it said, so now you trust Trump is in charge with the military or something like that. It's like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. And so I just said, I definitely don't think Joe or China is. I think that the military is just as divided as everything else. I think that we have some on one side and some on the other side, depending on, you know, their perspective of what they're being told. And some have big crimes that they're trying to cover up, and they're going to go to any extreme. Like I had said yesterday, a lot of these people, these pervy people, they're so worried of us finding out about like all of their depravity and stuff. That is where, you know, once you get to the point in your own depravity that you've got to hide yourself, that should be your sign. Like, your sign should be, to me, I have always been, if you can't do it in front of your parents or your grandparents, you may not want to be doing it. You know, and I'm not just saying like about sex, like, you know, there's things that people find so shameful, like they don't want anybody to know. That's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, nobody wants to go have sex in front of their parents or grandparents. I'm not just saying that. But I'm saying there's certain things that people do. I've talked about this so much where they think like, well, nobody's watching. Nobody's watching. I can get away with this. I can do this. And I was like, you can't get away with anything. They're always watching. You've definitely got grandparents watching you all fucking day, every day. You've got ancestors, relatives. You've got other soul family. Like, you are watched all the fucking time. And so, you know, there's nothing you can do like that you can ever get away with, you know, not being seen. That's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. So, but it is kind of, to me, I don't know, you just have to kind of be on the up and up or something. Like, when you start getting where you're doing something sneaky, you gotta sneak in. Like there's the people who are online who, I don't know, a lot of people online who start going and finding certain kinds of accounts, and then went into the comments and saw the comments, and then saw what the people were saying, and then saw who the people were who were saying it, and saw that there was way too many, you know, I would say 50 and up, but I mean, there's literally guys who are 30 who are all up in an 8-year-old, like, wow, you're so hot. Like, God damn. Fuck. Oh, I just can't even believe it. Can't even believe these people. So you have this group of people. There's a lot of them too. And they're very burnt out. All of them all of a sudden became very burnt out together, where they're very emotional, and it's like, this is too much. And because of the stuff that they've seen and where it's led them. And it gets darker and darker and darker. But so all of these accounts, when that's where they started finding, like, some of these little girls' accounts are their parents promoting them. Their parents go out and talk to these pervs in the comments. Like, it's mental. Like, you seriously, you can't fucking find a job. You got to sell pictures of your daughter in a swimsuit to make money, you fucking weirdo. Like, it's weird, man. It's so weird. And so then they go in and go into the comments. They find these people, see their comments, then go in and track these people down in their social media. They will track down their family members. They will track down their mother. They will track down their bosses. And then they will show their comments and who they're talking to and stuff. So there's like so much stuff being exposed. But what's crazy, because these people go in and start showing all these people's pictures and stuff, it just looks like regular guys. Doesn't look like some sort of fucking weirdo or something. It just looks like regular dads. Even some of them, they'll be in their social media, Facebook, family pictures showing their kids and their beautiful daughters. And then they'll go into some Instagram stuff on somebody else's little 7-year-old and be all up in the, ooh, God, she's hot, man. I'd love a little of that. Whoa. So, yeah. And this is fuck, man. They have said when you go and you start following that vein, that it leads into places like you do not even want to know exist. You just follow some of those guys, and it will all lead you to this. And it isn't even on the dark web anymore. It's just right out, and easy to find. And, you know, I'm shocked how many people just participate in this pervy shit. Like, isn't there anything inside of you that tells you, like that? Besides the fact, this is something like, man, I was a fucking child when I realized this shit. Like, you don't want to. It's kind of like the same thing as when my sister-in-law had said that about that wine that day when they were there visiting, and I think I went and got some expensive bottle of wine or something, and she got some cheaper bottle of wine, and somewhere in the discussion, and she was like, yeah, but if you like the cheaper one, why would you go and spend more just to get yourself, you got yourself now where you're hooked on the more expensive one. And so that is kind of like the same thing. Like, these people, and I have known men who have said that they get themselves so desensitized in some way that nothing normal can even get them anywhere close, that everything has to just go so extreme because they've desensitized themselves, because they've just gone more and more pervy. That's why you don't want to go there. It's like the same thing with any drug. Stella's like, she must be dreaming. It's the same thing with any drug, is you need more. So if it's depravity that you're into, you'll need more and more. It keeps going up. You're going to need something worse and something worse. And that's where you get these people like, well, I liked children, but I think it'll make it a lot more fun if I just killed them right in the middle of it. Then I can really enjoy this. Like, oh, well, that was fun. I better go get another one. Oh, well, now I'm getting suspicious. Like, people might notice that I keep stealing. I better just go hire somebody to get them for me. Like this. And then they start a whole fucking system of people going out and getting these, and then it goes into the parts, going out and getting these parts, and now they're fucking selling these parts that people are buying. They think they're getting like a fucking Mercedes or something, and they're getting a goddamn used fucking RAV4 part. Like, this part has been used, it's run out, probably wasn't even in a good shape in the beginning. You've got somebody who's been doing drugs. Like my dad, he did drugs and alcohol for his whole, he started drinking, he said, when he was a teenager. And so then he drank until he was 76, I think, is when he died. I'm not sure. But he didn't have any liver. He hadn't had a liver in like fucking 20 years. And he had already been into the hospital where so many times where they're like, oh, he's not getting out. And then he'd get back out. And so his, that's the kind of parts that I'm thinking. Like, you've got these people who have been addicts and stuff out there for 20, 30 years dying in the street, and then you're grabbing up their parts and selling them to people. And then you've got all these other people who are on all these pharmaceuticals that their bodies stopping working, and these parts are giving out, and then the chemicals that is going on that is causing everybody's parts to give out. And then they're going to start offering all these old decrepit parts. They probably even keep some of them in some freezer. But then we have the other part that's what they also put into our food. It's so disgusting. Ugh, God. This place, God. It is just like too much sometimes. It's so disgusting. And you do have to keep in this whole thing of like, okay, I do this all the time too. Okay, this isn't real. I'm just a hologram. I didn't really eat that. I just think I did. I didn't really do that. I just think I did. So, that's why I gotta keep telling myself to get through this. So, and man, I just keep seeing weird things keep happening. Like, everything is definitely this other level of life to me. Like, I don't know. It just seems very strange. Like, yesterday I was sitting on the couch, and I would be like, and it's when I'm thinking, when I'm communicating, telepathically talking to the other beings around me. And sometimes they'll do certain signs and stuff. And when I very first started having it where they were talking so much, where there was a whole bunch talking to me, and I started having these like flashing glitter things in my eyes, and I was like, I started asking people. That's when I was going to that Reiki group and stuff, and learning about meditation and energy and stuff like that at that group. And I was asking, like, is anybody else getting these weird things in their eyes? And it would be like, I would be talking to them, and then it would be like, they get real excited. And some people gave me some different ideas and stuff like that. But I can always tell, like, it's some sort of communication thing, that they get really excited if on some things. And it's like fireworks suddenly go off on the side of your eyes. It's like, sparkles, we're so excited. And so yesterday, it was weird because it wasn't just doing the sparkles. It was like this whole thing. And I kept turning and looking. It was like so weird because it was like so much right there. And I'd be like, what? Where is that? I don't know. I just think that this place is crazy magical. And I don't know. It seems like if it was, all of a sudden that the lights went out and we didn't see any of the pictures around us, and we could just see the energy. Like, still, like, it's so weird about some of these things. Like, and she'll keep looking like she thinks I can see what she can see. And it's like, dude, I can't see what you're looking at. It's like, I don't see it. And she gets so upset, and especially about, my company and stuff. She'll get like right up there. And she has been doing that the whole time, where I kept being like, man, is she trying to protect her from something or something? It's very strange. I've never seen her do this thing that she keeps doing. So, anyway, I mean, she will go up and wake people up. She will get up there. She wants to be involved in everybody's stuff, but there's something different that she's doing that I've never seen her do before. But to me also, like I've said before, the dogs and everything is ascending. So, I mean, some people, their dogs are ascending, their dogs are leveling up. And I know she is. I've been able to watch her. I mean, I'm so impressed by her sometimes. It's crazy. The things that I can say to her that she can understand, and how much she tries to communicate back to me. And sometimes, like, I'll ask her something, and then I'll hear it really loud in my head. And it's, I don't know. Is our telepathy just getting much bigger? Is there some sort of translator that tells me what is that she's thinking or saying or something? But I can hear it really loud. And how much of the stuff that I say that she can hear and understand. So cute how she's always listening to me too. But everything to me is like a whole nother level. Like even I've been, forgiven ever since the squirrels and the birds, when the snowstorm, when they start coming up to my window asking me for food. So, I keep going out and throwing them food and stuff. And I have a couple of squirrels that just come right out there, and I'll open the door. They'll hear me open the door, and I'll go out and I'll throw like a handful of nuts out into the yard, and they'll just sit there waiting. It's so cute that they don't get scared. But the one, he's a pretty big one, and he will go and he'll get the nut and he'll sit there and start eating it, and then he'll be like, "Mom, I'm gonna hide," and he'll go and hide like to keep safe. But anyways, I really like the interacting with all of the animals, and just I don't know, that part is where you see what's real, what's this crossing communication, to be one animal and to be able to focus and connect with another animal. Like, that is pretty special. Like, I mean, even when you see those videos of like a duck becoming best friends with a monkey, it's like that they crossed some sort of a barrier or something. And that's what, to me, with all of the different things as a human, when you can get a squirrel to interact with you, or you can get your dog to listen to you. You don't even have to speak from I can send her messages with my mind. Sometimes I'll do that too. I'll just sit and keep staring at her and sending her a message to see like when she'll hear it, if she'll turn and look at me or something. Which, I'll tell you this too, I saw another guy doing this, and I had talked about this quite a while ago when I saw somebody. I'd seen a couple of people doing it, but so this one, so you take tinfoil, so take some tinfoil and then make like some little angles. So take a tinfoil piece and then fold it, so you have like, and then put a couple of them up like on a flat surface, like on your kitchen counter or something. And then when you're doing it, because this is what I learned in the Reiki thing, and this is what I saw him doing. Okay, so when you are when you're learning about energy, so you take your hand, and then you take your other hand and you start putting them together, and you start feeling, you'll start feeling something pushing back. So you start going in and you start finding your energy ball, and then you'll feel it start to push back. But you got to be, you can't just be like, you got to tune in and start feeling it. And then you start getting that ball, and you can get it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And you start focusing, getting this ball bigger and bigger, and really feeling it. And then the guy who I saw, so he took it, and then he directed all that energy that he just created and got it right here in his hands. Then he did that, just that. He was not even near the tinfoil, just shot the energy that direction, and the tinfoils all fell. And he was just like, so he had been practicing and doing it, and trying to show about, I see, is that called telekinesis? No, I think telekinesis would be if you were just sitting there and just looking at it, and you could direct the energy with your mind. I think that is some sort of kinetic kind of thing, but it's definitely a tapping into the energy. It's just part of the learning about, your abilities and your gifts and the things that we can really do. It's like way more than that, I'm sure. But anyways, I thought that was just a really cool thing where I was like, oh, I'm going to try that. I'm going to do it. I'm going to set up some little tinfoil houses, and then I'm going to do it with a whole little, and see if I can get the tinfoil. And then even if you don't do it at first, keep practicing. And you can keep practicing. There's you can look up different things about with that energy ball. There's different things you can do, and you can use it. Like you're creating a real energy. Like you're really making an energy ball. Don't pretend. Don't think like that it's not real. Like you could literally take it and throw it. And so you've got to be mindful of what you're putting into your energy. Don't sit there and be like, fuck. You want to be like filling your energy with love, and then, and another thing too isn't you just throw it out. You got to be mindful of where you're throwing. Don't throw your energy and direct it towards somebody or something, because it will literally hit them, and that energy will just smack dab them and go into them. And so that's why there's so much of this stuff. You can see why humans had to level up. Like, can you imagine if we had some of this like evil energy that was still sitting around when we all started being able to throw energy balls at each other? You have some ass people. Like, that's why this is kind of like the weeding out, like the universe is weeding us out and getting rid of the ones that would take advantage of this leveling up. And this is because I didn't finish saying about with my mom, because she was saying, well, this is the rapture, and they're going to take all of the good people out of this place. And I said, well, I think it is could be that the bad people are leaving this place, and then it's going to be heaven on earth, because then it's going to be a higher vibration. But see, she's like, I believe the Bible. And it's like, well, I believe my inner knowing. And she said, well, she has inner knowing too, in what her inner knowing tells her. But see, this is the thing, is like, I don't have a reference. Like, I go and I listen to different, prophecy, and look at the different prophecy, but I don't base everything on like, to me, there's way too many things about the Bible. There's no freaking way that I would base any kind of truth on that. That is the most manipulated book in the information and stuff. So whatever truth is in there, that is where you have to use your own discernment. You have to use your own connection, know what's the truth, because everything else is going to be a lie. And I think that is going to be like, I don't know how it's going to affect her, just like I don't know how it's going to affect so many of these Christians. And, and if it is all waiting on this rapture where they think that they're all getting taken out of this horrible place, and the rest of us who are left, that we're not, God-fearing enough that we all have to suffer and stuff. It's like, it's kind of like some shit right there. But to me, I look at it as like this leveling up in the game. Like, if you want to continue in the game, you have to continually level up. Like in any video game, you can't just, you have to play the game. And so the leveling up and using your tools, the whole fucking thing, and get you into this other, and this whole thing about heaven on earth is supposed to be about the age of Aquarius. And so to me, I still think that the rapture, the weeding out, is the low vibration people leaving, because the game's just too hard at this point. It's a fucking huge leveling up. You have to fucking be on your game to fucking, like, this is kind of like going to reach the pinnacle point of like the top players, It's like going to a poker match, and you've got the top players, which I just saw. There was a open a mic. What is that called? Hot mic. I think it's called a hot mic, when they have someone talking that they didn't mean to get. And then but all this stuff right now is, we didn't mean to get it, but disclosure's happening, so everything's got to leak out. So this was a champion poker player, and he is regretting, and he said he's had a heart thing ever since he got the first one, but he did them because he wanted to be able to play, because this is what they did. They got these people, oh, you want to work? Now, what they've fucked the pilots, they fucked the airlines, like the fucking shit, man. And so this guy, in order to play, because if you're a champion poker player, like, they make money, like that's their way that their work is. And so he got him, and now he is, and he hasn't even gone to the doctor. He just said his heart hurts all the fucking time. And so then one of the guys he's playing with at this game said, he just got the first one. And he goes, oh, you shouldn't have got it. And he goes, well, I wanted to play this game. And he goes, I thought you didn't have to play. I thought you didn't have to get them anymore to play. And he goes, you had to get to play this one. And so the guy, it's just this conversation between these two players. But anyways, my whole point about the thing is that is the leveling up in the game, is like you have to keep becoming the best player you can be to continue in the game. And the players that can't level up, that's the low vibration. That's when you will go out of the game. And so, like, where these people think like they're rapturing out the good people and leaving the bad ones to fucking all die. I think it's the opposite. So anyways, we'll see. I mean, I think that's going to be really shocking to my mom. Like, all of a sudden they take all these certain people and you're still here. And it's like, what'd they take that one for? But that is what they showed even in that show, The Leftovers. And I think there's another show that they also showed a rapture situation. I think it was on Netflix too. It was like a while ago. But it was, I think in The Leftovers, they kept showing like where the people were like, why did they take them and not me? Like, like one person out of their family would be gone and the other ones wouldn't be. And so everybody was just very confused. I think it's going to kind of seem like that to some people. Like, I don't know what I'm still here for. But I really, really 100% think that it is, that it's about the vibration. It's about, can you hold the vibration as the game keeps going up? It's like, can you keep up with the game? And there's a lot of people who can't because they don't even know they're fucking playing a game, for one thing. And, well, I mean, on some level they do. But that's the thing, is like everybody's playing the part that they came into play. And so, just like these young kids with this quick, tragic, immediate deaths and stuff like that, that is for their parents or their loved ones that's a catalyst. So that's not the same as being their vibration was too low. It's more of the people who are not paying attention, don't give a shit, they're shallow. And that was said even in that Anunnaki thing, that those will be the people who are not going to be going further. Like, to me, for any Christian who would be taken in this rapture event, if it's what I think it is, that would not be a good thing. It wouldn't be like, like where they think, oh, we won, now we get to go sit at the foot of Jesus and sing all for eternity. It's not going to be like that. They're going to have to go up and face something and grow and, go back into another game somewhere else to figure out what it is that they couldn't do on this one or something, unless that was just the part they were playing. That's where things get so complicated. It's because you were literally playing a game to see your own ability, to see your own, how well you can do for yourself. How well can you connect to your higher self? How well can you stay focused on what's real and what's right instead of getting caught up in the illusion? So, I don't know. Anyways, there's a lot going on, and, just, I mean, after they sat there and said that there's going to be no gas, and then right away they have some fucking big leak, like I said, they were going to fucking try. I knew they were going to be, as soon as they said there was going to be no gas in that one area, I was like, oh my God, they're trapping them. There's going to be, so that's the kind of shit where people have got to fucking pay attention to them, for themselves, and quit thinking like you need somebody to say something before you say something. You can believe in yourself. You can notice and trust yourself. Like, if I would have just sat back and waited to say anything about the fake sun until somebody else brought me confirmation, or if I would have spent all my time needing to look into science journals to see if I was right, I don't need that. I can look up in the sky and see I'm right. I can look up in the sky and be like, the sun is not a round silver disc. Never has been until recently. So, like, and it's so fucking hot. Like, all of this shit. Like, man, I swear to God. So, anyways, just keep taking care of yourself and keep trying to level up your own game. Keep thinking about it on that kind of level. Like, it's going to be like the champions will be the one, like it's the, like, I have all these different things coming to my mind, but kind of like back when video games were super popular, and then you would go to a place. I didn't play them all the time, but I've seen this in movies and heard talked about. But there would be like a top score, and everybody would try and get to that top score, and it would always be like these initials. And so that is like, that's where we're at. You've got to keep working up to get that top score in the game. It's like you're playing against the game, you know, kind of. And but if you don't keep up and keep on top of your game, then the game will end for you, as far as I see. So anyways, we got a lot of stuff that's still got to play out and see. You know, I'm waiting, because even the things that I say, you know, I am talking from my own insight, from my own communication, and the things that are brought to me that they want me to notice, and then what they tell me and show me about the things that are brought to me. And so, you know, I believe in myself. Basically, I believe in me. And that's where I think everybody has got to get to that point of trusting and believing in themselves. And I think that is what it's all happening. It's not just happening to win the prize to get to the age of Aquarius. There's way more than that going on. Not everybody is meant to get to that part. There's going to be a lot, you know. It's not going to be, you know, what. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to go, but there's going to be a lot of people who are going to leave. And so the main thing is not just like the eye on the prize, get to age of Aquarius. No, the eye on the prize is your own ascension, your own evolving, your own enlightenment, your own abilities to see more. Maybe you only, you know, maybe your box went from this size to this size. Maybe you're still in the box, but your box got bigger. That still is an elevation. So no matter where you are in this journey, be proud of yourself and know you are doing something to benefit yourself. And don't get stuck on any prizes or any kind of things that are going to fix everything and stuff. It's not about that. It's about what you are doing in this present moment and how you're evolving as a human being and your behavior towards other beings. You know, that what you're putting out into the world, it matters. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.